Boy, is there any way you can do research?
Yeah.
So like, if I say like, if I, oh sorry, I'll
We are the Primal Wrestling Show. Robert Bryce, Tom Malloy, Rich Lopez.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Primalo Wrestling Show. It's the Primalo crew, Homeboy Malloy, Steve in the back making a sound, and look, hopefully, got the skunk stash going with the shadow, trying to make me look as good as I look. I know Homeboy's always looking good. Robert Price is always with us, and I'm Rich Lopez, again, the Primalo crew. We are the Primalo Wrestling Show. We took a week off, so we apologize. I had some personal stuff, had a baby on the way. So, that obviously took precedence over the show for that week only. Well, I guess in emergency cases, it's always going to be baby then the show, but you know what I mean. But anyway, how was the week off? How was your weekends? Homeboy, we'll start with you, man. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing good, man. Just my camera was just all over the place. I apologize about that. I was trying
What,
to.
you do that shit all the time, dude. It's like the Blair
Yeah.
Witch Project with you, dude. You're just running and shit.
I'm out in the woods, bro.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
still scared and shit. You know what I mean?
dude, I can't complain though. Just working, getting ready to have a baby. Getting the house done.
Good.
So excited for you and KP.
Thanks, man.
My
Appreciate
kid's
it.
gonna have a best friend, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
stuck. They have no choice because of their fathers.
just a family dynamic bloodline. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's just gonna happen. What are you sipping on? Oh
Dude,
wait, I don't see. Oh wait, you got it. You got it in a glass. Okay.
I'm sipping on. It's called the Oswald.
The
Sam
Oslo.
Sam always gets me a St. Patrick's Day gift, and it came in the mail yesterday. And
I saw that.
it was a beer subscription, so that was pretty cool for 1 month. So she picked me out she knew all my favorite beers, so it was cool. Got some hoppy stuff, got some tarty stuff, got some fruity stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not bad. Definitely wouldn't want to do it all year round, but just like a once in a while kind of thing. It was pretty cool to get.
So wait, so it's a subscription like a monthly subscription or just
You could order it that way, or you could do like a monthly subscription, and it's basically the same cost either way. It's like $4 a can,
I got you.
like including shipping and everything if you break it down. But it's cool, and you could do like bigger packages and smaller packages up to like you could do from like a 6-pack to a case. I didn't even know you could deliver beer. Like I didn't know you could just literally send beer in the mail. So I thought that was such a cool thing. And then
Man,
like
you're about to go berserk on that.
I know the FedEx lady showed up at my house. I thought I was gonna have to I brought my ID outside, and she's like, she goes, "How old are you?" I'm like, "I'm 27." She's like, "Okay, I don't want you touching my stuff." I was like, if I knew this was a thing when I was 17,
Oh, dude, you're screwed.
I would have been like,
You'd be
let's
dead, dude.
go.
You'd be dead. You'd definitely be dead. No, I'm like kidding. Steve, what are you sipping on? How was your week? I know you went to St. Louis last time we talked, but yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Trip was fun. My buddy retired from the Navy after 32 years, so went out there for a ceremony. I am sipping on a beautiful Malibu and Coke this evening.
Praise the Lord on that, dude. That's awesome. Congrats to your friend too. That's success right there. But
And congratulations to you on the beautiful baby.
thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Sierra Rosalie Yvonne Lopez took our grandma's names. Well, my grandma's middle name, her grandma's first name, made them middle names. Sierra first name Lopez. Dude, it's so weird to say like you have a namesake. It's so weird. Like we're at the doctor's office today and they're like, name? I'm like, Sierra Lopez? Like I didn't realize like Lopez. So it's kind of cool, but it's definitely a new challenge, boy. I can't wait for you to experience it. I know it's coming up soon, but yeah, we could talk about that. Maybe end of the year. I figured that'd be enough time. End of the year, maybe we could have a show where their kids in it or something.
They could actually just do the show.
Yeah, that's true. They'll probably be better than us. They'll be better than us.
Steve, you have kids, right?
Yes, I have one, and he's 20. He'll be 23 in August.
He just
Awesome.
missed the cut. He just missed the cut. He just, we need 23 months or less. That's what we need, not years. No, that's cool though. Speaking of success and excitement, this is WrestleMania week. So Monday was Raw. That took place tonight. I think it's right after our show is the Hall of Fame, which was taped like last week. Wednesday, Thursday is NXT Stand and Deliver. Friday SmackDown. Saturday, Sunday is the 2-night WrestleMania thing. Are you still a big fan, boy, of the the 2-night WrestleManias?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I was just saying to Sam upstairs, I was like, "Yo, you ready for WrestleMania weekend?" She's like, "Can't you see my enthusiasm?" Heh 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 heh.
She better recognize who she's married to. This is a great weekend. I'm
Yeah, I
actually,
know.
I remember you always were a proponent, and I think Price was too. Of like, I know Price was really big into New Japan too. So I know Wrestle Kingdom, not Wrestle Kingdom. Is that what it is called? Wrestle
Yeah.
Kingdom, right? Yeah. I know that's. I don't know why I had a freeze right there, but I know that's usually a 2-nighter. So I think he always wanted WrestleMania to be like that, and I never really wanted it to be like that because I always think of like a big boxing event or a big UFC event. It's usually just one night and it's over. But last year I thought was really successful, so I credit you. You had that thought in your head. It worked out, and now I'm a big fan of it. Now I can't wait for the entire weekend. So I'm excited for the 2 nights of WrestleMania. What do you think? Are you gonna watch the Hall of Fame? Or are you gonna watch highlights of the Hall of Fame? Is there anybody in particular that you're excited about before we get into the actual WrestleMania card?
Yeah, the Hall of Fame's Friday night, right?
No, Friday's. It's Hall of Fame is
Friday's.
today. Sorry,
Oh shit, it's today. Oh,
today.
no, it's today.
I searched it like 7 times. You're good.
So I'm probably gonna watch that then after the show. I gotta do some homework for work, and then I'm probably gonna watch. I probably won't watch the whole thing. I'll probably skip around on it. There's just some speeches I really want to see. I want to see JBL's. I want to see the NWO induction. I would like to see Kane's and Eric Bischoff.
Oh,
that's the 4 I'm really looking forward to. The 2 from last year and 2 from the year after.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Bischoff and British Bulldog because I think Diana will be the recipient, and she's always. I mean, if you think about Wembley Stadium in '92, she was a big part of the storyline in that. In '96, the rivalry that British Bulldog had with Shawn Michaels in May, June, July, she was a part in that. So obviously, with her ties in the Hart family and all that kind of stuff, she's always been a part of the wrestling circle. So she's always been speaking positive of the British Bulldog and the WWE. So like, I'm excited to see what she talks about. And then Bischoff, I think I always think him, and I know Heyman's still active, so you don't think about it, but I always think that him and Heyman, what they did in the '90s is like, yeah, we talk about it, but because they lost, like we don't. I mean, most of the negatives are pointed out over the positives, but like to think that there was like 3 legit companies in the '90s to me, like I don't know, it's just and what they did in like that competitive era, I just feel like it's not stressed enough, especially ECW. I mean, so like I'm not really talking about Bischoff right now. I'm talking about Heyman because like if you look like that, literally looks like an independent work show, but the fact that they were able to take that and just move it to different cities like it was like a WWE, you know what I mean? That was just insane. But Bischoff taking the lead for 83 weeks, even though I didn't think the product was significant of 83 weeks. I thought maybe for a year they were always better. But like he wasn't even a wrestling guy and he overtakes Vince. Out of all the promotions in the world.
That tried and failed.
Yeah, tried and failed. All the wrestling minds that tried to compete with Vince and failed. Here comes a guy who knew little about wrestling, obviously was a part of it, but he was mainly the and the production part of it. He comes in, realizes what needs to be different, and then takes over the lead. Like I hope this Hall of Fame kind of like solidifies. I know he has the 83 weeks podcast, which is great, but like I hope that this kind of gives him more content on the network that kind of showcases what he did, and then we'll see what happens there. And then I'm also interested to see. I think is this the first year or this might be the second year of the Warrior Award. I know Titus is getting it for the 2020 version, but I know the 2021 version, it's a guy named Rich something. Not Rich Eisen, but it's Rich something with an E.
Rich Lopez.
Yeah, I wish. I really do wish. But it's somebody from the the WWE circles. And that's what the Warrior Award was always in part for. It wasn't for like somebody that was outside the company. Ultimate Warrior specifically said there should be an award for somebody of the production aspect or, the creative aspect or the writing aspect. Like, I think that's kind of cool that they're starting to finally get into that rhythm because the first 2 recipients, I feel like, were more of a publicity stunt than what the award was actually for. So,
yeah, I feel like that way as well. Like, I mean, not to speak wrong about like that kid getting and stuff. It's
he was the only one I was okay with because he actually was a wrestling fan. Yeah, if that makes any sense. But like the other ones, like I know they beat cancer. One of them beat cancer. There's another one too. But like they were older and like they had nothing really to do with wrestling. At least I think it was Cole the Crusher, right? That was his name, Cole.
Yeah,
I think that was his name. But like he at least was a wrestling fan, and obviously one of his dying wishes was to go to like WrestleManias and wrestling shows. So like I'm okay with that one. But the other ones that had nothing to do with wrestling, like, not even an interest in wrestling, I just didn't understand it.
Yeah, I think it's cool, especially it's like to get recognition. It's like, to me, that's like, when you're working a job for so long, you get some recognition for being there. Like you're a company asset, because there's so much that goes on behind the scenes in WWE corporate office and everything else. But also, it's good for, I think, Titus O'Neil to get it. I think it's partially a publicity stunt to. I don't know. I think Titus is trying to get involved in government in Florida, and that's that's what Hogan was on his on Corey Graves' podcast. He's like, "Oh yeah, the mayor of Clearwater Beach, Florida. He's like the future mayor. He's like, I'd endorse him. But I guess he does do a lot for the community. And he's really boys and girls clubs, and like Hogan was like, because I guess Hogan's actually like not friends with him, but knows of him and knew a lot about like what he did in the area, because that's where Hogan lives as well and has businesses there and stuff.
That's what you want to go, right?
Dude, I want to go to Hogan's Hangout, man.
No, I thought you wanted to move to Clearwater. Did we just talk?
I'll be a bartender at Hogan's Hangout.
There you go.
But
that's the Hall of Fame, and then NXT's coming up. Obviously, there's some featured matches. NXT Women's Title: Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez. We got Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole. Balor versus Cross. I know Gargano's in a match. Ciampa versus Walter, I think, which is going to be a sleeper match. I mean, if you even want to call it a sleeper match, NXT usually delivers. The last, I think I texted you the last 2020. I don't know if it was because of the pandemic. Like, I just didn't watch NXT. Especially the takeovers. I've always watched takeovers. There's not really a bad takeover. But I really didn't watch one past In Your House. After In Your House, I just didn't watch it. Even the Great American Bash, the only match I watched was the, who was it? Lee and Karrion Kross. That was the only match I watched. So but I remember I texted you when I saw like the lineup for this. Night 1 and night 2 look legit. So I really can't wait for that. I think it's going to be a great lead up into WrestleMania, even with the Friday break with SmackDown. So is there any match in particular that are you going to watch NXT? I guess
that's Friday night, correct?
Dude, Friday, I just said 2 nights, dude. Wednesday, Thursday. Were you drunk?
I might be.
You might be. Wednesday, Thursday.
And then what's going on Friday? There's nothing on
SmackDown, dude.
Oh yeah, shit.
I like how your answer, by the way, every day was Friday. Hall of Fame, yeah, that's Friday. NXT, yeah, that's Friday. WrestleMania, yeah, that's Friday.
Like, let's SmackDown. You don't need to, whatever. But that's cool. I'll probably watch it. Probably Friday.
there you go. Okay, you'll watch it Friday. Everything you're gonna just binge watch on Friday. So then SmackDown, I know they announced like 2 WrestleMania-sized matches. It's the Fatal 4-Way Tag match, and then Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is also on Friday. It's crazy to me, but whatever. And then Saturday, Sunday, which we can get into it. We don't really need to talk about the matches verbatim.
One question for you: if you were a wrestler on that card and you don't have a match on Mania, and you're not getting that Mania paycheck, how would you feel about being in that Andre the Giant Battle Royal? I would just throw myself over the top ropes. I'd get in and just go, eh.
I just don't understand, right? So, like, I understand. The reasoning I heard that they're not doing a pre-show, which this kind of ties into WrestleMania, so we can just talk about it, is the reason why they're not doing a pre-show is because they want the very first entrance with the live crowd to be, like, astronomical, which is why it's probably going to be Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre.
I'm down with it. I dig it.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think so too, because it's like I think the winners of the Rumble should always main event. Like, I'm a traditionalist like that. So Bianca, if they're on night 1, Bianca and Sasha should close out. That being said, I'm not really a fan of title matches being the very first match, but given the circumstances, first of all, in WWE, it's been done a million times, but I've never been a fan of it. But given the circumstances, if this is going to be the first match in front of a live crowd in over a year, yeah, definitely make it the very first match something huge, because you're making, that anticipation is just phenomenal. So I do think that's going to be the first match, McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. But that being said, if you don't have a pre-show match for night 2, and you just don't make those 2 matches the pre-shows, I don't understand why. Because you're screwing the guys out of a paycheck, like you said, the WrestleMania bonus. Unless it's specifically stated, yes, this is on SmackDown, but hey, we'll give you the WrestleMania bonus as a thank you or a gratuity You know what I mean? But if I'm like this, like think about it, like the Street Profits or Ziggler and Rude, like I'm thinking of more Dominic, right? Like you
Dominic
could
should be happy he's there because I'm really not
true, but
impressed
I'm
by
just saying,
him.
like you could actually be at a WrestleMania in front of a crowd with your dad.
Yeah,
How cool
yeah, that fact, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's cool shit, right? But like, yeah, but because you don't want to for some reason, you're putting out a SmackDown where we have no crowd. So like it sucks too. That's something I could think about. Like I'm thinking more like the Battle Royal. You know how they go. Like it's just you're in the ring, right? Like, granted, being in the ring and getting that WrestleMania bonus, that's definitely a helpful thing. But if you're just in the ring, whatever. But the tag team match, there is a little bit of a strategy or a creative way to storytell them, that kind of thing. I think that'd be really kind of cool to do. I think you could have did the Battle Royal in the middle part of night one, just a random part night one, and then you could have did the tag team match as a pre-show of night two because you already saw the big entrance. You already had one night of WrestleMania. I think there would have been a better way to do it, but whatever. Who am I to say? But what matches are you looking forward to? I know we have the title match. We have the 2 title matches, men's title matches. McIntyre, Lashley. We have the SmackDown. We got Reigns, Edge, and Bryan. I don't think we talked since then. What do you like the triple threat? Oh, go ahead. Bless you.
Sorry.
Bless you. Bless you. Ah.
I just didn't want anyone to, like, if they're driving in their car listening to our podcast and they're like, oh my God.
They jump and fly off the road.
Yeah.
I should have said broccoli. I heard if you say like a different thing to get your mind off it, you don't sneeze. But
Joe Caffrey told me in 7th grade, if I go like this and say mayonnaise, I won't sneeze. It's never worked for me, but I'll never forget that.
Well, if you do it on the show, dude, try it. I saw when he tapped that screen in your face. I was like, he's about to sneeze, so definitely try it. I'll be able to tell. I'll be able to tell. So we have the title matches, triple threat. Your thoughts on the triple threat? You like it?
I'm very excited for it.
It looks like he's a heel now. I thought he was a tweener, but he's pretty much full blown heel now.
Yeah, he's better at being a heel.
Yeah.
A couple of things about Mania in general. Just one I want to comment on is I love that there's no part timers on this card. This is the first time in probably 10 years that there's no part timers on the card, and like the real veterans of WrestleMania is Bobby Lashley and Edge. And Edge isn't a part timer. Like he's wrestling on SmackDown. Orton. Jeez, I forgot about Orton.
I always say that? Like everybody forgets Orton when it comes to a conversation.
Yeah.
It's something weird about that.
And then like lately, like I've been listening to wrestling podcasts. So like sidebar, like Sam and I have been like we go for walks every day after work, and we either go down like the track down Solomon and stuff, and I'll throw on a wrestling podcast on the way down. And she's like, yeah, everyone's all about Randy Orton. So she's a big Orton fan. Mm-hmm. And she's like, he's finally getting, like, she always thought he didn't get, like, the respect he deserved because, like, we were watching, like, some of his old school, new school matches, and Orton really is.
He's so good. That's why I just don't understand why everybody forgets him. Like, it's just, but, like, I do that too, and I'm a huge Orton fan. It's just, like, when you just talk about, like, his historians or, you, like, just now, like, there's there's just veterans, and then you forget, literally, outside of Edge, the oldest veteran. It's literally Edge and Orton are the 2 oldest, and you just forget Orton for some reason. I mean, I don't know if that's like a creative thing or what, but like Orton's featured in a high-profile match with The Fiend. You know what I mean? So like, but I do agree with you. I think this is the first time in a long time, and it's awesome to see. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy that everybody that's kind of worked all year is getting I mean, they're all featured matches, I guess, right? But like they're getting hopefully a lot of time in their matches.
But I even like people were talking smack on Edge. I'm like, no, Edge deserves to be there, man, because if he didn't leave 10 years ago, I don't think he'd be wrestling now. But those last 10 years, he would have been there every day. You know?
That's the thing. It's like, well, the main thing, like, the only problem I had with Edge is that his name is so much bigger than the title now. That's the only issue.
To me, I feel like he's going to be like Shawn Michaels. How Shawn Michaels was always in the title picture, but never won the title.
I mean, that definitely could be the case. I remember.
Besides one time.
No, of course, with the Orton feud and stuff like that. And obviously Triple H. But like, for me though, it's like, I just think he's so much bigger than the title, and that in this day and age, because WWE doesn't make that many stars, I think the titles make the guys. So therefore, I think younger guys should get the titles more. So like, Edge doesn't need it; he's set. I've always liked Edge because Edge is he's actually a wrestling fan. See, to me, I think Lesnar's a fan, but he's more of a business fan. Or sorry, he's a businessman.
Yeah.
So
He's
like
a businessman first, fan second.
fan second. Goldberg, I think, is just business. So I've never liked Goldberg. I never liked Goldberg coming back because I think it's just business. Like I don't think there's anything. I don't care. He came back because he wanted his son to see him. I think that's just business. Like if he didn't get that WWE 2K that led into the WWE match, it's just he doesn't care about coming back. Edge has always been a wrestling fan, and I don't know if you saw that Untold with Mick Foley yet.
I have to watch that too.
Dude, it's so good. I mean, there's not, like I told you, there really hasn't been a bad Untold so far. So, he explains like it's fandom, and like I've always been an Edge fan and a Christian fan, and even the Hardy Boys, like all those like tag teams that kind of like broke out into singles roles and that are finally like now kind of getting their like notoriety. They've always been wrestling fans, so I love that they're coming back. I just thought Edge was always above it. But like that being said, I'm very happy that he's in WrestleMania and he's actually in a match. Like him versus Orton last year, I thought was great. Like those names can sell the match. They don't need a title.
Yeah, I would like to see Edge versus Cena one more time.
That'd be great too. Definitely great. So what matches are you looking forward to? I only named the 2 title men's matches, but I'll be fair. Let's go with the women's matches. We got Asuka, Rhea Ripley. We got Banks versus Belair. Fiend Orton. Almost is Amos, right? Almost.
Yeah, almost with AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, he's making his debut against New Day. Big E versus Apollo, which is a rematch from Fastlane. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, that Fight Forever rivalry is still going on strong. I'm probably missing a couple more matches. I know there's a women's tag team gauntlet on night 1. The winner faces Shayna and Nia Jax on night 2. So yeah, I mean, there's a plethora of matches. I know I'm definitely missing a couple, but like I said, I'm not trying to go by the book here. What matches are you looking forward to? Oh, Braun Strowman, Shane, and a cage match, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool too because we haven't seen a lot of gimmick matches at WrestleMania besides like street fights or no disqualification matches.
Yeah, you're talking like Hell in a Cell or stage,
yeah,
caskets or that. You're right.
So I'm looking forward to honestly the Bobby Lashley versus Drew match. I hope Bobby Lashley dominates it. I just think.
Here's my question with that, because I feel like the last 2 months it's been, and sorry to cut you off, but because it reminded me to ask you this. I wanted to ask you this 2 weeks ago. McIntyre's been pushed down her throat similar to what Roman was, right? You think McIntyre gets booed because there's an actual live crowd? Because I actually have a feeling he gets booed.
I do too. I feel like Bobby Lashley is probably the most over person on Raw. I think Roman Reigns is the most over person across both brands.
Yeah.
But Bobby Lashley is like it's 1A and then 1B.
I completely agree with you.
Because he's so good, he's been there for so long, and you could tell like from his 2005 run to his 2021 run, like he has charisma now. He's the almighty Bobby Lashley. His music's 10 times better.
Yeah, I think MVP really helped him out with that, because MVP, you know me, I was a huge MVP fan, and he's crazy charismatic. So I think that kind of brushed off Lashley. And I think him having a manager, which we always talked about, like if you're not known for the mic, you get a good manager, that covers that shit up real quick.
Well, Bobby Lashley you think of it too, he had 15 years of practice, and a lot of it was in TNA, where he had good storylines, where he did work with MVP, where he did work with Moose. He worked with a lot of top athletes who could also just talk shit. Yeah. So it's I just think he is the best heel in wrestling right now. Like just because he's just so dominant. Like McMahon, I think that's why they broke McMahon must just be salivating like backstage. Like this guy is between him and Roman. Like even Drew, to a perspective, like Drew's a good
heel, but they're just not making him like a heel though.
No, they want him to be like this fighting Scottish babyface, and I think that would apply. I would like to see him like this. I don't know if it sounds like a downgrade or not, but I would like to see them do like a tour of Europe once like the world's normal again, and him versus Walter I think would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be crazy if Walter ever gets called up, which I don't think he would. I think he just likes NXT, but that would be a great rivalry. But
Mark Henry thinks he's going to be world champion.
Who?
Mark Henry thinks Walter will be world champion in 4 years.
Oh, that'd be cool. I like Walter a lot. I think he has definitely an it factor, and he doesn't even talk much. I think he has it.
He literally looks like my boss's son. My boss at the beer store looks
like
his son.
He definitely does. I didn't even think about that. He definitely does. That's crazy. But yeah, I have a feeling McIntyre gets booed, and I think the reason why I was going to ask your thoughts on the Hurt Business breaking up, even though that's not really WrestleMania related. But like, I think that's the reason why McMahon wanted to break up the Hurt Business, because I think that was getting over so much. With like Lashley breaking off the Hurt Business, it kind of gives him a little bit more heat to possibly get booed, because I think Vince is trying to do to Drew McIntyre what he's been wanting to do with Roman. So I think last year as a face, McIntyre was so freshly pushed and
dude, I popped when he won against Brock. I was like, yeah, WrestleMania's awesome. Like,
it was
yeah,
so natural. It was natural. It seemed fresh. Like it was an actual natural push. Like there's nothing forced about it. Now to me, it looks like it's getting forced, and I don't know if it's because like the title changes so quick, like you already know what's gonna happen, or like the TV time got so much, like you don't know what's gonna happen. But I have a feeling he's gonna get booed because I feel like this year it's forced. Last year it wasn't so much. This year I think it is. And I hope, like you said, because he is deserving, I hope Bobby Lashley does get some sort of cheers from the crowd or even from MVP, because I love MVP as a manager. So
it was cool though that they specified that on Twitter. MVP's like, just so everyone knows, the Hurt Business is me and Bobby Lashley and nobody else.
And nobody else. But he's like, we're always taking applications.
Yeah,
I love that. He sticks to the gimmick on Twitter. So I'll go the other route. I really can't wait to see the Roman Reigns Edge Daniel Bryan one. Because of that dynamic of the triple threat. You hear this in my WrestleMania 16 remake, which if you guys are tuning in, hopefully the whole show, we are going to cover WrestleMania 16 in a little bit, because that was our watch along to review, rebook, and all that kind of stuff. But I hate doing triple threat matches. I've told you this a million times, because like I'm a boxing fan and UFC fan, you don't ever see a triple threat. So like I always think it should be one-on-one. That being said, I love triple threats because of that hidden dynamic. So if it's done properly, like at WrestleMania 30 with Orton, Batista, Bryan, or WrestleMania 20 when it was Triple H, Benoit, and HBK, like when it's done right, they knock it out the park. And I think they're gonna do it right this year, because you're talking about guys that love the business and know how to work the crowd. So that being said, I definitely expect that match to probably steal the show. I think the spot of the night is obviously going to be Shane and Braun, whatever they do. I just hope they don't steal Kevin Owens' spot. Do you remember when Braun threw him off the top of the cage?
Yeah.
Onto the table? I have a feeling they're going to do something like that. But we'll see. I'm really excited to see the New Day match, because I want to see how AJ does in a tag team match. I think that's a really cool match for him to be in. I feel like you wouldn't have expected that.
Well, he's one title away from getting the Grand Slam victory. So
true.
Let's give him that. I think that he's such an asset to the company. I think he'll be such a good. I could see AJ Styles just working down at NXT like in probably 5-6 years, because
it has to work.
I don't think he's gonna being a trainer or something. I just don't see him being ever away from the business. Like even if like he'll just get up and go to work every day and come home, like he's a family guy. Like he'll be home more. He'll have just like his job. He shows up at and goes home.
Yeah.
And I could see him doing that. Also, I think this last almost 2 years now, really gave some longevity to his career, because he's not traveling. And I think he would rethink his position in the company. Like now, like maybe like when live events do come back in the next 2 to 3, maybe 6 months, he's just like, yeah, F it, I'll go on the road for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's the thing too. Like that's how you know people are smart in the business, right? So like AJ really didn't change his ring style, really didn't even change his gimmick, but just that appearance of almost, it just makes him so whenever he does break off from that, it will still give him another 2 years if he wants to. You know what I mean? Like I know his contract's up, I think next year, but like just that appearance of somebody else gives him that different appearance look. So it gives him longevity. So whenever they break off, he could do something else different, which is it's just so simple like that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you have the New Day, who's been pretty much doing the same stuff. They just changed their outfits, and they're still going strong, which is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that Big E Apollo match.
Yeah, that match was
very underrated.
Yes.
The gimmick change was kind of stupid in my opinion, just out of nowhere. I think you need to break a person completely down and repackage them. But I like the gimmick. I just don't like the timing of it. I feel like it was rushed. It was random, which I hate. It was literally like, all right, I could see Apollo going backstage. Vince, I really want to be like this character from the Black Panther.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
Never, yeah. He watches Black Panther, and I love it.
Go home and watch this movie. I want to be this guy.
Yeah.
All right, I'll watch it on the plane. I could hear Bruce Pritchard going, "Hey, I think that's a good idea." He's like, "Well, I'll put it on, Bruce. We have a 2-hour flight.
Yeah.
Put it on. That was a great movie. I'm gonna start watching all the Marvel movies and make all my characters after these people."
Oh man, we're gonna have Iron Man soon, dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hey, it's $1 million man pretty much with a suit. So
Yeah, you're right, 100%. But yeah, I definitely do think it was something like that where like he was told to watch like a snippet of Black Panther, and he's like, "Oh, I love it. All right, you can do it." And then, all right, oh, we gotta do it before WrestleMania because we're gonna give you the title. So,
Yeah.
random. So I completely agree. That's something I hated about that. Like if it was done at like maybe Survivor Series and he debuts it in January, just that 4 weeks to where like you could see the change. Like you said, like when it comes to a gimmick change,
he has an accent now too, right?
I don't know. I haven't listened to him talk. I'm honestly, now I think about it, never heard Apollo talk. I don't think.
Yeah. So
I know that.
I know, like he was getting like advice from Roman, and I don't think Roman was like, "Hey, here's a copy of the Black Panther." Like, but that's who probably got it over with Vince was Roman and Big E there because I feel like the New Day has to have Vince McMahon's ear because of the merchandise.
Oh yeah.
And Roman's like, "Hey Vince, it's pretty cool. You should check it out." Like,
yeah. No, you're right. I feel like Orton, McIntyre, Edge, Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and New Day probably have like the most say.
Well, I mean, Rey Mysterio's got to have some clout too. He's like, "Vince, give my son a job."
Yeah, you're right. I guess he does have some clout. I was gonna say I don't know about that, but just because they book him in such shitty feuds. But no, you're right.
Hey, if you're gonna book me a shitty feud, just like let my son get in there and collect a check because he didn't want to go to college. But yeah, he could
I'll do this crap. Get my family some screen time. That's it. You're right.
My other daughter wants to be an actor. See what she could do.
Yeah, you're right. Here you have Dolph Ziggler busting his ass and just going crazy, and then tag team match. Not even on WrestleMania.
Him and Rude have two like the best bodies in wrestling, which Vince obviously would want. But athleticism selling, like.
Speaking of tag team, dude, I know we talked about it the last show. We didn't talk about it today, so we'll do this before we go on to our rebooking. Bad Bunny. If you ever watched the Corona video, that's where I always get it from. But anyway, it's finally a tag team match. Him and Priest versus Miz and Morrison. I guess the injuries got cleared for Priest and Morrison. They made it a tag team match. This is on night. I forget which night it is, but anyway. Are you excited to see this match since it's not a marquee match? Because like I told you, since it's not a marquee match, I'm intrigued, and it brings appeal from other eyes. It's when it's not. It's when a celebrity gets a marquee match where I'm just like, I'm not really a big fan.
I'm okay with it. I'd really like to see what Damian Priest is going to do on a big stage, especially he's probably. Well, I guess he's not. I guess that's going to be more on Miz and Morrison to talk Bad Bunny through the
Bad Bunny.
Through the match itself. I could see it be very, very little having Bad Bunny in the ring versus having Damian Priest. He's going to be. I think him and John Morrison will have a lot. I think a lot of cool stuff because their athleticism.
Yeah.
And then like, I really hope to see Damian Priest in like the United States title picture after this because him versus Matt Riddle would be awesome.
Oh, Riddle Sheamus. That's there's a
that well deserved for both parties because they've both been kicking ass all year. Like, I mean,
that's probably
Sheamus.
When I saw that match, I was like, Malloy's gonna love that match.
Yeah, I'm gonna. It's great. I honestly just think that Sheamus is such a good wrestler, such a good talent, and he's gonna put over Riddle, in my opinion.
I think so too.
Because I mean, I think Sheamus is on obviously the back end of his career. I could see him get another like world title victory, and that's going to be about it for him.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I guess you could bet your money on it. Did you see you could bet on DraftKings for WrestleMania the matches?
I'm not the betting guy. You are, dude. You're the one who was asking me all about. What did you ask me about?
I asked you about football and stuff. That's I bet on. Yeah.
Was it college football or playoffs?
It was NFC and AFC playoffs. I bet on. I won a couple bucks.
Dude, do it, baby.
Obviously, I'm not a big betting person, but I guess there's like a $50,000 pool, and
everyone get every match right.
Yeah.
See, that's why I would love to be creative, dude. Because if I was creative, I would literally just look at like what the favorites are, and probably just underdog everything.
Yeah, as everyone's
or vice versa.
Oh, you got Bobby Lashley winning. All right, Drew, change plans, buddy. You're going over.
Yep. Yeah, there's all that kind of stuff. I would just mess around like crazy.
I just
But
don't
at
know
the
how
same
you
time,
could
that is
bet.
also cool. That is also cool that they get to do that. Like for DraftKings, that's cool. Are you going to put any money down on anything?
I think
So
I might
that's a
bet.
good question before we close out this on the thing. One, I'm going to ask you, what night are you excited for? I don't know if you know the match listing, so if you can't answer that,
I do.
oh, you do? Okay, so give me your favorite match night, A. B, what match would you bet your house on? And then C, what match are you looking forward to the most? Like just as a fan, chilling home. Hopefully I can come over. I can't make any guarantees yet still, so I apologize. But you're chilling with.
Saturday night would be the best night for me, but if
All right,
I'm on your schedule.
all right. Thank you. I appreciate that. But you're chilling with your boy. What match are you looking forward to the most? If it was just a one nighter, like what match? But give me those three.
So looking forward to wise, I'm really looking forward to that Drew McIntyre Bobby Lashley match. I think it's going to be the best match on the card. Match I would bet the house on.
You have a nice house, by the way. You're getting the basement done and everything, baby proofing it.
Thank you.
What do you got?
I'm going with the Sasha. What the hell's her name?
Bianca.
Bianca.
Not a good start if you don't know her name. You're gonna bet.
No, I do because I actually watched the whole storyline.
Oh, okay.
I just forgot her name for a second.
I know you are with the women. Sometimes you fall asleep.
I'm betting all my money on Bianca Belair becoming a women's champion.
Ooh.
The way the storyline is down, it's their friend. They literally took the Cena HBK way of doing it, where HBK finally was just like, screw it, boom, super kick.
Yeah.
And they did it a month earlier, and now they have a build up. And she's like this beat down baby face. She's gonna come up and overcome, and she wins the world title.
I like it. And then what's the night that you're looking forward to the most?
Night one. I just think it has all the best matches on it.
I think so too.
I mean, I'm really looking. It feels like it really is a Raw and a SmackDown night. And
That is true.
I've honestly been more of a SmackDown person, but I guess the storylines I'm more intrigued with for the Raw side with the Fiend and Orton. The World WWE title match, and then the women's title match for SmackDown is actually very interesting in my opinion.
I think that was done so much better than the Raw one, but I just think for some reason creatively, like they just don't get Asuka because she's had the title so long in multiple WrestleManias, and they just haven't built her properly. It sucks.
How about that little that goof up with Matt Riddle and Asuka, where he's just like.
Yeah.
On the scooter, he's like, yeah, I don't know.
yeah. That's so. But he gets lucky with that. It fits his lines.
Yeah, he's just like, because he probably is actually stoned because they don't drug test for that anymore. He's probably just like,
no, 100%.
Okay.
So give me the Malloy ratings. What do you think WrestleMania is going to be, so we can compare it to next week on a review?
I'm hoping it's a 10 out of 10.
Of course, I know everybody's saying that. What do you think it's going to be?
It's probably gonna be like an 8. 7.5, 8, yeah.
7.5, 8. All right, well, we'll see what happens. You guys let us know what matches you guys are looking forward to, or girls, I should say. What you guys or girls are looking forward to. There's 2 nights. We got NXT still on a Wednesday, Thursday, not Friday, not the Malloy Friday, on Wednesday, Thursday. So that's gonna be a great. I told Christine, I was like, I can watch the baby all night if you want. Like I'm watching NXT. I'm going into Mania. Like whatever you need me to do. You recover. You did the hard part. I can help you recover. You know what I mean? I can just watch past WrestleManias. It's WrestleMania week, so I can watch current wrestling. I'm here for you. So hopefully you guys will do the same. And let us know your thoughts on every event. Night 1, night 2 of NXT, the Hall of Fame, night 1, night 2 of WrestleMania, and then we can review it, I should say. And then, give you guys inputs on the show next week. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at PML Show. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So, speaking of interaction, we took a week off, but I believe, we did 2 weeks ago, right? We said WrestleMania 16. If you guys have been following us since, I believe, beginning of February, we have kind of reviewed a couple WrestleManias. Talked about what matches we liked, what matches we didn't like, what would we have changed, and what we have changed into, all right, let's rebook WrestleMania if we were the booker men, you know what I mean? So we're going to have a WrestleMania 16 card. We're going to have a Malloy Mania 16 card and a Lopez Mania 16 card. So I guess the first things first, we will just go with WrestleMania 16, which was held in the Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim, California. 4 years after WrestleMania 12, which is another episode that we did. If you guys want to follow that on Spotify or YouTube, which is where all our past episodes are on video, Spotify, past episodes are on, I guess, podcasting. So WrestleMania 12 was handled, but yes, WrestleMania 16, again, Arrowhead Pond of Anaheim. This is the first time ever. We've seen a triple threat match, I believe, at this point, did we? We might not have. Sorry, no, we never saw a triple threat match at this point at WrestleMania, but this is the first multi-man Stephanie with Triple H, Vince somehow with The Rock. I feel like that was the most thrown together one, but whatever. So that's why
The Rock with anybody is just thrown together. He's just
true. Him and Stone Cold were such loners. Yeah, it just made no sense. But anyway, that was the billing of the 4-person match, which I think which is a theme of this whole show. Malloy, you could chime in here. A lot of, I don't want to say overbooking because the match count of 10 is actually not bad, but the amount of people in each match is insane. There's only one singles match on this show, and it's a women's cat fight, which is 2 minutes long, and it's Val Venus as a special guest. So half of that match is makeouts with Val Venus.
Good for him.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's a good WrestleMania. You get the WrestleMania pay, get 2 kisses, and then that's about it. I mean, he also 3 makeouts because Mae Young made out with them too. So, but yeah, that's the only singles match. Every other one, you have a 15-minute battle royal. You start off the show with a tag team match with D'Lo, Godfather against Buchanan, Boss Man. You have the Triangle Ladder match. You have the Inter Euro Triangle or Triple Threat match with Angle, Jericho, Benoit. Kane Rikishi somehow thrown with X-Pac and Road Dogg. What else we got? China Too Cool in a 6-man against the Radicals of Guerrero, Malenko, Saturn. Then obviously the Fatal 4, which we talked about. Did I name all of them? Oh, TNA versus Head Cheese for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a lot of multi-man matches. Your thoughts on the entire show? Sorry I took too long, so you got the reins for like 7 minutes.
Yeah, no, I don't need that. We'll get to our cards. So overall, the show it kind of sucked. There was just too much going on it, and it's literally too much. I'm gonna put it the best way that me and my pal Mike Sombrowski explained Beer Super. You're trying to fit 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound box. It's just it's not gonna it's so hard. It's so complex, I guess, to book WrestleMania as it is to fill a beer distributor. It's, you want to make sure you have every piece right. You want to have that IPA. You want to have that rock. You want to have that match. You want to have your big time product out there, but you only have 2 hours to do it, or 3 hours or whatever it was.
Probably 4. We'll just say 4.
And you know what? Sometimes just having everyone, and two, you could, I guess, attribute to I guess you would say local baseball. Not everyone deserves a trophy, so not everyone deserved to be on that WrestleMania card. I could have did it without, that that hardcore battle royal. You could have turned that into a match. You could have just had a singles match, had a payday there. It was just a lot to take in. And then, of course, the only time Sam comes downstairs, oh, what are you watching? It's the cat fight. She's like, and you're going to let our daughter watch this? I was like, well, it's not like this anymore. She's like, well, they're not allowed to watch the old stuff.
Dude, are you on Peacock? Are you on Peacock?
Yeah.
Dude, that's going to be edited out in 5.
Yeah.
Probably about 5 days it's going to be edited. So
that's a whole conversation for another show. We could do a topic discussion on censoring.
Yeah, we could probably talk about that next. We could definitely talk about that. Probably not next week. Maybe the following week, because next week's going to be WrestleMania still. But I definitely do want to talk about your thoughts on the editing of.
That really frosts my nuts.
Oh man, dude, it's April, dude. You don't have to worry about that.
They should
here's my
defrost
question
it.
to you real quick about the overbooking, because I completely agree with you. That's why I wanted you to kind of take the reins there. This is the reason why we did 16 before the final, as the go home Primal O show before WrestleMania 37, is because 17 is probably the best ever, but 2000 is arguably the most popular year of wrestling in regards to money making, ratings, all that. So do you think that Vince is like, all right, we need to get everybody on the show so they could all get some sort of WrestleMania cut? Now, granted,
they all deserve a payday, man. They all did. They all worked their balls. They all really, played with their ball well to have a great game.
You just think that they could have done it better, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they could have. Unfortunately, less is more in wrestling, and that's the biggest thing you hear from the people who are at the top. A guy teaching you how to do it, and even stuff like we learned along the way is less is more, and having all these guys there, just it. I get it, definitely get it, but not everyone needed to be there.
Completely agree with you. You could always do like a battle royal if you want to get everybody on the card. Instead of a 15-minute, you could just knock that down to 10 and have 20 people in the match. You know what I mean? That takes a lot.
Which doesn't even make sense. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was half in the bag when I watched that portion of WrestleMania, and I was like,
Oh, you texted me that, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, what in the hell is going on? And I also thought it would be a great idea for us to be the Dudley Boys for Halloween.
Yeah, you did text me that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. You did say that.
But I was just like, Jesus, like, it was a lot, man. I was just like, what the hell? Like, how is this on television?
No, you're
like,
right. Well,
it was
pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You had to pay for it.
Yeah. So just think, a bunch of kids who were from probably 10 to 18 years old, their mother and father worked a lot of hours for them to watch that terrible, terrible match.
You're right. So just so you guys know, if you guys missed this show or you guys listen on Spotify, if you guys go to our YouTube or our Instagram and Facebook, we do post the graphics for the actual WrestleMania card and then the Malloy version and the Lopez version. Usually we incorporate our names into the card to make it kind of sound different and cool. So if you guys are, listening to this on Spotify, you guys can definitely, like I said, go on our social media or YouTube to watch the video version or to at least see the graphics of the card, which is going to lead us into the Malloy Mania. So do you have your card available? Because I want you to run down your card. So
yeah, I have my pull up. I actually saved the email I sent you this time.
Well, don't forget your match that we had to add. Okay. Also, I want to say, the point of rebooking is everybody that was actually on the card, we don't have to book, but they're the only available. Like, you can't say WrestleMania 2000, all right, Steve Austin, I'm putting him in there. Well, Steve Austin wasn't on the show, so we can't put him in there. Undertaker's in there. All right, he wasn't on the show, so we can't put him in there. It's only people that were actually available. So that being said, Malloy, you can go ahead with your Malloy 2000, and let's – because I got a bone to pick with you. I mean, we only have about 13 minutes here, so I don't want to go too much into it.
Hey, we could always carry on in the next show. It's always a good discussion.
Yeah, you're right. We did say we would do that, so we will cover what we can. So go ahead.
So my match on the card is Taz versus Steve Blackman opening up the show.
Yep.
High and Ty versus the Godfather.
I say, speaking of that, when we were talking about what you're watching, I'm assuming you're half in the bag because it's Kai and Ty.
Kai and Ty, it's
with a K, dude, not an H, you jackass. You're like High and Ty? I was like, what?
Kai and Ty versus the Godfather and Bull Buchanan.
All right, that's my first. Well, actually, no, good. I'll read the whole card, and then I'm going to ask you. Go, sorry.
D'Lo Brown versus Al Snow.
I like that match.
DX, which is Road Dogg, China, and X-Pac versus Too Cool, which is Scotty, Too Hottie, Grandmaster Sexy, and Rikishi. Then there's a fatal four-way match for the European IC title. I have Eddie Guerrero versus Jericho versus Angle versus Benoit. I'm going to start from the beginning again. Who wins those matches?
Okay.
I have Taz winning. I have High and Ty winning.
Kai
and Ty winning.
God dang it, dude.
I have Al Snow winning. And then I have
over my boy.
Yeah, D'Lo, what you gonna do now?
Unbelievable.
Woo.
Unbelievable.
Then I have China defeating Grandmaster Sexy. I just think that'd be a funny way to end the match. Fatal four way. I have Eddie Guerrero versus Jericho versus Angle versus Benoit. I have Benoit going over and actually winning both titles. Triangle ladder match, keep it the same. There's nothing you should change there. I still have Edge and Christian winning. Next match, I definitely would put in Kane versus Big Show. Just I think that'd be a big marquee match. Okay. And those guys had a big year. I guess it was the afterthought for me. But I think those two against each other would really attract attention, especially size-wise. And I think Kane would have been able to teach Big Show while in Undertaker's absence. He would have took over as a good mentor.
I agree.
And versus like being in a tag team match, we're like, all right, hit him, do this, do that. Versus okay, hit me back now. We're doing it live. Like you had that one-on-one session with Undertaker. Now you're having it with Kane, who, Glenn Jacobs really
it's
is.
honestly, like, not trying to disrespect Kane, but it's a great value version of Undertaker.
It
Inexperienced
really is. Yeah.
with his style, because it's obviously his brother. So
Yeah.
I think Kane is just as good in the ring as Undertaker, but presented on WWE, it's just a cheaper version of Undertaker.
It's 1A and 1B.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Then I have a hardcore brawl for the hardcore title. I have Crash Holly versus Hardcore Holly.
Yep.
And Crash Holly retaining the title. Then I have just a one-on-one match for the WWF title, Rock versus Triple H. Rock wins. Everyone goes home happy because he's the big old baby face.
Yeah, that's the first time I think a heel actually won with Triple H. So here's my thing. Luckily, I texted you about Kane and Big Show because you left that show off. You left that match off, and I was like, bro, you're leaving some heavy hitters off here. And the one I forgot to sent you, because I did my card a little bit. I saw your card first, so then I did mine a little different, so it's not repetitive, because there was going to be two of the same matches. I forgot to give you Cactus Jack. Would you have put him on this show or no?
I would have brought him back for if I could save him.
Okay.
I would have used him at a SummerSlam or somewhere else.
All right, that's
it's just like, he did that retirement bit literally just in January.
okay.
He was back was he the commissioner yet?
No, he goes commissioner like 2 months after WrestleMania. I think it's like May or June.
I would just give him some time off, put him in that commissioner role like we did with Roddy Piper for WrestleMania 12, and then just like weasel it back in, like you're gonna have to have a match with somebody, and it doesn't. Hey, that would have been a good spot for Big Show. Big Show really improved over the course of the time that he was with the company. Maybe Big Show.
That was my option, but I ended up not doing that. But that was my option of Cactus Jack versus Big Show, but it wasn't, because they had that the match the year before. But that's a good idea though, because Big Show needed guidance a year later, right? Like he's in a hardcore match at 17, so you're completely right with that. So, but here's my questions for you, bro. You got Godfather and Buchanan. Are you thinking of Right to Censor and you're just doing it a year early, or did you just not give a shit and just put them together because it's a tiny match?
It's just a tiny match, and I'd rather see him dressed up with the Godfather and all of his hoes versus him dressed up like the Big Boss Man's apprentice.
Okay.
So
he really does like a Secretary of Boss Man.
Yeah, that's literally how he looks. And I feel like that was Bull Buchanan's whole gimmick. He's just like riding the coattails of someone else. Like,
yeah, you're right.
From Cena downward, it was a thing. But I could just see him like with the hat on and stuff, and like this is his heavy. Every pimp's got to have a heavy. You know what I mean?
I like that. And then so I actually don't mind the match because I think there's two great workers. But you got D'Lo and Al Snow. I was thinking about why'd you choose that, and like maybe not Steve Blackman and D'Lo or Al Snow versus Steve Blackman. Like, were you just thinking that those are good workers like me, and then like they would have a decent match?
They would just have a super good match, and I think that can lead into having like a European title match against Chris Benoit.
I like that.
And either way, I think that's a good way to get the title off of Benoit because they're both really good wrestlers, and they both have their gimmicks, which is they have good gimmicks, right? Like the head thing was great for Al Snow, but he was really good in the ring.
Yeah.
And then D'Lo, it's like you didn't want to take him seriously. Like he was this goofy guy. He was a serious guy when he was in the Nation, but he was like this goofy guy with Mark Henry and like the Godfather. Like they're doing their thing. But I just feel like if him versus Benoit, that's what I was kind of like going for with that was like a program at Benoit. Yeah.
You're far booking. I like that. And then my last one for you. You have China and DX. When this was like the heel faction DX, like the Triple H World Champion DX. Like, would you have kept China and DX the entire time?
I prefer her as a heel, and like her big thing was like she wanted to work with men. Well, there you go. Because honestly, like she had a great pop at WrestleMania 16 when she came out and did her thing.
Insane, right?
Yeah, but it's just like keep building her up, and I think she could have been world champion.
I agree.
I really do.
In past interviews, there's been a rumor that Vince said, hey, if you don't do Playboy, you can be my world champion at some point, but she ended up choosing Playboy. Now, obviously, how true that story is, because that sounds kind of like crazy, is another story, but that was a rumor at one point that she was offered that or Playboy, and she took Playboy because of the money.
Yeah, because JR even comments on his show where she requested, because like he was like obviously talent relations trying to keep her around.
Yeah.
And he's like, how much money was stay? He's like, I want to be paid as much as Stone Cold Steve Austin. So to me, that's like, okay, you were good, and it would have been a great upset. I think if she beat Triple H for the title or something, like in a perfect world, like you screwed me, well I'm gonna screw you, and I'm gonna have all your boys help me do it. That would have been a great way for DX to turn on Triple H, and she hits him with the pedigree, boom, like
over.
Triple
H would never put somebody over like that, but
not then.
Yeah,
I mean, he put over Ronda Rousey.
That's true, but that's way later in his life. That's not the time of his life where he can make the most money. That's why I always said, like, everybody's willing to put over somebody after their prime. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But I actually like your card. I just had those couple questions. I like the Fatal 4-Way match. The Triple Threat Ladder match. The one thing I do want to say, maybe when we start booking SummerSlams, we'll do it. There's this website that I started following, and I think it's an old website. It's called Place to Be Nation. They do bookings, like rebookings of WrestleManias. They can't have the same match. So, like, you have the Triangle Ladder match as the same. I do too when you guys see my graphic. But if you were to change that, which we can maybe talk about next week because I want to get my card in, you can't have the same matches. So I wonder what we would do if we have to do the entire card and none of the matches can be the same. I think that's even more. That takes our creativity to another level. So maybe we'll start doing that, like maybe for King of the Rings or for SummerSlams. But we'll go to my card right now. Lopez Mania 2000 Poppy Hefe edition. We're gonna start off with the tag match. We're gonna go, but the theme of my WrestleMania is the Radicals are coming in to go against DX. So it's gonna be those four against those four. Billy Gunn was off this show. I think he was injured, so I really didn't incorporate him, obviously, because we couldn't. But I have DX versus the Radicals. I have Road Dogg and X-Pac against Eddie Guerrero and Malenko. Perry Saturn can maybe just show face, you know what I mean? And Tori can show face on the DX side. I have Big Show versus Rikishi, two big boys, whatever. Fatal 4-Way hardcore title match. Definitely dwindling down the 15-minute, 20 people into it, just to 4 minutes. Or 4 people, 7-minute match. Crash Holly, Hardcore Holly, Al Snow, Steve Blackman. I took them off a tag team match. I got the 6-man tag match. I'm going to keep Too Cool in China, but I'm going to give them against Test Albert and Trish, so it's kind of like 2 guys and a girl. It could possibly be a good rub to get Trish some in-ring, although there's 5 other people around her. You know what I mean? Just to kind of give her that look of the in-the-ring feel in the WrestleMania environment. Tag match, I got APA versus D'Lo and Godfather. I guess after I read the whole thing, I'll give you my winners, I guess. Intercontinental European match. I have the Intercontinental Champion being Chris Jericho. I have Kurt Angle being the European. Winner take all. I got Chris Jericho winning. I would have Angle be undefeated the entire time, and then have him lose the winner. Actually, you know what? No, I'll give it to Angle. I'll give Angle the win. Winner take all. Triangle ladder match, I kept the same like you. Edge Christian against the Hardy Boys against the Dudley Boys. I got Taz in the featured. Remember, he made his debut in January. Crappy booking kind of put him down lower in the card, but I'm going to give him a featured role against Kane. So it's not the main event, but it's still a featured card because Kane's still a pretty big gimmick at that point. So I got Taz in a featured role. I got Kane winning, though, because I just think Taz is a little too small compared to Kane. And then my 2 main event matches, I got Triple H versus Chris Benoit, which I think we do get at No Mercy in October. So I'm obviously pushing that up because, again, I'm keeping that DX versus the Radicals theme. And then this is what I had. I originally had Triple H Rock, but I'm like, what if Cactus Jack was a heel? Because if you remember, what kind of started the Cactus Jack thing was that pink slip match in January of 2000 against The Rock. Loser gets fired. It was Mankind against The Rock. If Mankind lost that pink slip match, which he did, then came back as Cactus Jack and attacked The Rock, still took the title off Triple H because maybe the Radicals interfered or whatever. I think that would have been a cool way to have a heel Cactus Jack, which is what the intentions were in the WCW era, against The Rock. Mick Foley can, maybe say, all right, I finally get my main event match, and if I lose, I retire. That's the way to get him off. Have his retirement at WrestleMania. Rock wins, goes home happy. I think that'd be kind of a cool way to give Mick Foley kind of his flowers, as they say, because he deserved from all the hard work and all the people that he put over. And Cactus Jack was his most natural and favorite gimmick to do. So I think that'd have been a cool match to see. I definitely would have kept it like maybe a no holds barred or a no DQ street fight, whatever. But it's no different than what they did in the Fatal 4-Way. So Yeah, that's my card. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but
I would agree with your main event. I really like that dude. That's a great way to put Cactus Jack out because obviously he was hurting because he did so much in such that 1995 to 2000, that 5 years was crucial on his body. And I don't know how The Rock actually feels about Mick Foley in really real life, but I would say that was probably besides Steve Austin his best opponent.
I can believe.
And I can't really see that could be the best way to put Mick Foley out, or maybe he wouldn't have been as hungry to keep coming back and having some really dumb like some like a lot of stuff like this didn't make sense with him after he had some closure. I think he still would have came back for Edge and Orton. I would have changed that for the world. He made those two guys, and that I think helps cement Mick Foley's legacy. But that really, I think, would have put over The Rock and him as kind of like not a passing of a torch, just like a closure. Because in a couple years later, he does the same thing with Stone Cold, and The Rock goes out on top. You know what I mean? On both of them.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's my card. Let us know your thoughts on. Like I said, if you guys are listening on Spotify, on YouTube, you'll actually be able to see the graphics thanks to the great producer Steve. You'll be able to see what Malloy, how he booked it, how I booked it, and then the actual cards to see like who we took from which matches and stuff like that. And then also our Instagram and Facebook. We're gonna post the graphics up there, so you'll see all three of those. But real quick, rapid fire because I know it's 8:01. Steve, I'm sorry. Just give me 1 minute here. We're gonna end this show with WrestleMania questions, real quick, homeboy. So, real quick, what is the greatest women's match in WrestleMania history? And by the way, we can talk about WrestleMania 16 going into next week as well, like you said, because I do want to make a point. Hopefully, I remember next week, but I'll
write it down.
Huh? Yeah,
write it down.
Yep.
I really like the Charlotte, Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch.
Okay, I like the triple threat: Becky Lynch, Sasha, Charlotte. My second one would be Asuka versus Charlotte at 34. What is the most underrated WrestleMania match of all time?
I feel like Flair and HBK don't get the recognition it deserves.
See, I think if we went Flair Taker, I would agree with that. I'm gonna go with Savage Warrior at 7 because that was such a bad WrestleMania in such an early time. I'm gonna go with Flair Warrior at 7. And then, do you have the graphic? You probably don't have the graphic. We might need to skip this one.
I got it.
Oh, okay. What is your favorite WrestleMania logo of all time? And you can see the picture. There's a plethora of logos from 1 to 36.
I'm gonna say WrestleMania 19. I just think it was. I like that font. I like that color.
I like that. I always found a thing. I don't know, maybe because it was on the ring apron or the ring mat. I liked WrestleMania 12 because it's like theatrical. And then on the colors, and then I always like 14 because of the block. Are you got Malloy? All right. Well, anyway, yeah, I like 14. I know you said you like 19, but anyway, I think that's a sign that we are going over time. So we will obviously wrap up the show. You guys can watch the Hall of Fame if you guys are watching this and then going into the Hall of Fame. Hope you guys enjoy NXT Stand and Deliver. I hope you guys like WrestleMania nights 1 and 2. Hearing. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, YouTube, all at PML Show. That's the way to find us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at PML Show, Spotify and YouTube for podcasting and the video portions of it at PML Show. If you guys are liking what you're hearing, this is on Lose the Radio. Steve's doing a great job with that. So if you guys want to listen to a couple more podcasts on that, it is facebook.com/Lose the Radio. So hope you guys enjoyed the show. Sorry, went a little bit over, Steve. Forgive me. But the person that kind of just signed off abruptly, I'm assuming the battery died, was Homeboy. Steve's in the back making us look and sound as good, -1. Robert Price is always with us. And the new dad, Rich Lopez. Girl dad. Sierra, I love you. New dad, we're signing off. Thank you guys. Have a nice week and a nice weekend. Until next week. Peace.